If property only goes up in value, and my dad bought his first house for £2,000 and it's now worth 60, and you get to keep all the gain, why the fuck aren't people buying more of these things? Around 2001, I decided that I wanted to buy my own house. I had a little bit of money left over. I was going to Afghan, Iraq, Saudi, things like that. You can't spend a lot of money when you're in the desert, so you tend to come home with 3-4 grand sat in your bank. So I thought, I'm going to buy a house, I'm going to get on the property ladder. That's what my dad had told me that I needed to do. I was making a good job of failing my car and bike tests, so I thought I'll buy a house instead. So I buys my first house, and there was talk about property going up in value, that it was going to shoot up in 2001. So the first question, because I've always been a bit of a deep thinker, the first thing I asked my dad was, well, if this house that I'm buying, which was £35,000, if I buy this and it doubles in value to 70,000, how much of this money do I get to keep? And he said, well, it's all yours, you get to keep it all. And I said, yeah, but I'm only putting in 10% and the banks are putting in 90. Like, surely they get 90% of that gain. And he said, no, it doesn't work like that. It's your house, you get to keep it all. And I thought, life doesn't fucking work that way. There's nowhere at all have I gone through life and put 10% in and someone puts 90 in and you get to keep it all. And there's talks that property is going to double in value. So I went and asked my financial advisor. And I said, Paul, I'm buying this house and there's obviously talks about the market's going to go up in value. And he went, Stephen, it's an absolute dead cert. The market is going to probably explode over the next couple of years. And I said, if that was to double, how much do I get to keep? And he said, I don't know what you mean. I said, well, if it goes from 35 to 70, how much of that 35 is mine? And he said, it's all yours, it's your house. And I thought, nah, he's wrong. He's wrong. So I went and asked somebody else because I thought, life doesn't fucking do that, guys. So when I found out that actually this seems to be the truth, I was still skeptical, even though I got told 3 times. I thought there'll be something in them clauses that I have to give something back of that when I sell it or something like that. And I spoke with a few of the people and it was like, this was kind of the common knowledge of like looking at me like, well, it's your house, mate. Of course you get to keep that game. So in my head, the first thing I went, well, if property only goes up in value, and my dad bought his first house for £2,000 and it's now worth 60, and you get to keep all the gain, why the fuck aren't people buying more of these things? Why aren't you buying more? So the first thing I said to my dad, why have you only got one house then? If the first one was 2 grand and it's now 60, why have you only bought one of them? And he was like, oh, well, you'd have to let it out and then you'd have all the stress and you'd have tenants and you'd have this and you'd have that. And he kind of put me off this thing.